Have you got your helmet?
Just evening there.
Evening, Chair.
Hi there. You know, that tower there looks just like metal. That is. It's two different rows. Come on, yeah, it is. Where's the chairman and his daughter? It says Chris and Maggie. Go through. Stay on for the concert. Apologies. Evening, everyone. Welcome. Welcome, councillors and members of the public, to remind attendees to show respect for all throughout the meeting in line with the obligation of the Code of Conduct, and to receive an appropriate approved apologies for absence.
So apologies received from Councillor Ben Gualthmai and Councillor Estelle Blyvis.
Okay, thank you. Declarations of interest. To receive declarations of interest and, if appropriate, consider any relevant dispensation. Okay, public participation. It isn't very often I get a chance to run a meeting where the public are speaking quite a lot, but I suppose we are doing it tonight. Can I just remind everyone that we have 3 minutes. Each person who puts their hands up will have 3 minutes. I've got it on a timer, so one of my councillors has got a stopwatch. But that's only in public participation section, which we're going into very soon. I just want to remind everyone that we are, as a council, we are consultees. The decision or final decisions will be made by Powys County Council and not ourselves. So if anyone wants to start the proceedings. Yeah, Graham. Thank you, Graham.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I just wanted to briefly say that as if we're discussing when you come to discuss the planning application regarding Poundland in Bellew Street, that as one of the 3 local county councillors in Welshpool, I have called this application in for discussion by the planning committee, which means that the decision will not be taken by officers of the council. I've called that in on the grounds of a loss. I feel a loss of significant retail space for the town, very important retail space. When the town is lacking this type of facility, I think it's a terrible thought that this building will be lost to the retail sector in Welshpool, particularly as it is so close to the town centre and is accessible by so many people by walking.
Thank you, Graham. Can I just interrupt you there? Can you get a little bit closer to the mic, Graham? It's
sorry, Chris, is that any better? How's that?
Yeah, that sounds a little bit better. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, Chris. I also feel that there isn't a need in the town for another gymnasium facility with the facilities that we already have, although that is not a planning reason for opposing such an application. Another area that I will be objecting on is that the premises plan is to be open 24/7. I will be objecting on those grounds on its closeness to a nightclub where over 300 people leave in the early hours of the morning on a Sunday, with the premises of this type right on their doorstep as they leave. I also want to just make clear that you'll see on the planning application before you that it says that this premises comes with 90 car parking spaces. That is not the case. I've done some research on this, and back in 1987, in May 1987, when the first supermarket was built, Powys County Council, or it may have even have been Montgomeryshire at the time, agreed to guarantee that there would always be 90 car parking spaces in that Bellew Street car park. They are not leased to the applicant. So I wanted to make that clear. That was renewed, a 35-year lease was renewed in 2022. So 4 years ago, that lease was renewed again. The applicant pays Powys County Council a £5,000 a year towards that, but all it simply does is guarantee that that car park will always remain in place with at least 90 spaces there. None of them are leased specifically to Poundland or the owners of Poundland Building. Thank you, Chair. I hope that helps.
Thank you very much, Graham. Yeah, that's as clear as day. Right. Anyone else want to come in? Anyone online or in the building? I can. Thank you. Can you come to a mic, somewhere?
Yeah. I'd like to want me to go over there.
Thank you.
Hi, thank you. Yeah, so if I follow from Councillor Breeze's points,
Could
so
you,
yeah.
could you tell everyone your name? I'm
Oh,
sorry,
sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. My name's Chris Greatrix. I'm the owner of Great Fitness,
Right.
gym, opposite the Poundland building. So the follow on there, strong points about the losing the retail. But I'll go on to the 24/7 thing that they've applied for. So the gym that I've got the capabilities of being 24/7 if I so chose. I did a risk assessment a couple of years ago about possibly going 24/7. And due to the nightclub and the pubs in the local vicinity, I've had members who have left there late at night, a bit drunk, and they've tried to access my gym on the fob system that I've got at various times and various different weekends. So a couple of years ago, I decided it was too much of a risk to go 24/7. So I decided that weekends that I would just be open from 9 o'clock till 4, staying away from the pub and the nightclub hours, basically. So that's one big objection I've got to anything on those lines. And also in terms of what Welshpool's got in terms of facilities 24/7, in terms of policing, noise disturbance to local residents and bits like that. So I'd also like to say, point out, like, I know it's not a direct thing in terms of business, but there are currently 5 gyms in Welshpool with only 5,500 population, which is pretty small for 5 gyms already. And every single place that's here provides every form of training there is. So with this application that's got in, there's nothing new that's going to be brought to the area. And all it's going to be, being a global business, is just taken away from the local tradesmen that have set up and worked here for over 10 years. The other thing I'd like to sort of point out is the accuracy of the application. So on the plans that they've submitted, I'm still down as a cinema. So the plans that they've submitted are, well, over 13 years old. I've been there now, well, I've been there 13 years. So they've put that in. So when they, in their application, they say that they're bringing a need to the local town centre. They make no relevant reference to there actually being a place that already is a fob system and already provides a facility they're looking to do in terms of classes and gym. And so yeah, let's say they need to relook at what they've actually put into their application. And again, like Councillor Breeze said, in terms of the parking, I've looked into that a bit myself as well, and as I say, as far as I'm aware, that car park is available for anyone to use and pay for any business or anyone shopping in the town centre. I think that kind of covers my points really. I'm not sure, I did send through a point, yeah, got that of sort of my points of my objections really.
Okay, thank you very, very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Morag. Yes, yes.
Provided us with a very well thought out response to the application, which we were emailed as councillors. And just check you will be sending that to Paris County Council.
I already have, yeah.
So. Yeah. Simple.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, okay, well done. Anyone else coming in? Anyone online, Kim?
Do it again? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Evening, everyone. My name's Neil McGuinness. I'm a resident of Fordon and I'm also a patron of Chris's Gym and have been since it opened. Just a couple of observations, if I may. Neil McGuinness. Thank you. Just a couple of observations. It seems to me that if granted, then the application would enable a business to operate that fills demand that doesn't exist in the first instance. Chris has already said that 5 gyms for 5,000 people seems ample. I think also from an economic development and economic benefit perspective, that's got to be limited. I doubt very much that if there's a fob system, there's going to be very much by way of job creation as a consequence of the facility opening. And what job creation there might be, I would attest, would be relatively low skilled and would probably just displace existing employment across the existing provision in this sector. And then my third and final point is that, notwithstanding the fact that I understand the application was coming from an address in South Wales, this is a multinational business. We've got the majority of the gymnasiums operating in the Welshpool catchment area are owned by owner managers effectively. So the profits that those businesses generate is repatriated to the local economy in a way that frankly wouldn't be the case, I suspect, in the event that the planning consent were approved, because you'd simply have the profits repatriated to the mothership, which I understand is a US-based entity. Thank you. That's all I had to say.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Are we all feeling all right? Bill, you coming in? No, did nothing. Does anyone else put your hand up now, or we're going to ignore you? No, all right. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. We will carry on. Please, well, yeah. To consider recommendations made by the Place Plan Working Group following the initial meeting held on Friday, the 31st of July. Planning new application. Consider. Right. Oh, appendix B. So do apologize. All right.
Can I just point out to those who might be listening, we have agreed that we will work towards creating and adopting the place plan for Welshpool, whereas at the moment, we are only consultees of Powys County Council. Should we adopt a formal place plan, then they would have much more, we would much have more impact and more influence over what happens in the local area. So if it's in our place plan, then we can agree things, and I feel, correct me if I'm wrong, but if it's not in the place plan, that would give us more control of what we say no to, or what we allow to happen in the town, and it bears more weight with Powys County Council. The moment we don't have one, so we're only consultees, but that's why we decided to create a place plan.
Okay.
I'm not going to correct Matt Morag, but I'm just going to add to it a little bit. One of the more important things about the place plan process will be a huge amount of public consultation. We really want to hear from everyone, and it gives us an idea of the shape of town that people want. It would give us, in this particular instance that we've already heard about, a much stronger platform from which to say our piece and be heard. Because we know we had public support for what we stood for. Provided we have that level of public support, then the place plan can attain the status of supplementary planning guidance, SPG, which then means that it has to be taken seriously within any planning application.
Thank you, Bill. Bill.
Thanks, Chair. Yeah, I concur with all that's been said. I've been advocating that we should have our place plan in place for more than 2 years.
Yes.
There were reasons why we haven't been able to progress it, but now I'm very pleased that we are.
Yes.
Newtown's place plan, and I believe they're the only town in our part of Wales that actually has one, which was completed not that long ago, a few years ago. I think has been very successful, and I'm sure that if we get this right, ours will be equally successful. I agree with Bill, consultation is key. We need to know what people want from the town. And I would echo what Morag says, there's a feeling, certainly amongst ourselves, that powers can be sometimes a bit remote. They don't really seem always, despite our excellent county councillors, I have to say, but Powys itself sometimes doesn't seem to be quite in step with us when it comes to what we want to see for the town. And this will go a long way towards making sure that the future development of the town is as we would like to see it and as the people of the town would like to see it. And I would support the recommendations that the committee makes.
Thank you, Phil. Anyone else, sir? Sorry,
Yeah,
Bill?
can you please confirm that I'm on this group, because I wasn't at that meeting also.
Not as yet, no, not as yet.
Sorry,
You can be, but you're not yet.
I should be. I was approved by council.
By full council. By full council.
Sorry,
By full council.
Yeah.
I'll double check in the morning.
grateful, thank you.
Bill, is this not just one of those meetings you can walk into anyway? It doesn't matter.
Anybody can attend.
A working group.
Yes,
Bill?
yes, I was just going to make the point that it's a working group rather than a committee, so it's.
Yeah, thank you.
One thing I would say is that we have the problem. One of the reasons why this hasn't gone ahead as quickly as it might have done is that the process of producing a new local development plan has hit lots of blocks and stumbles along and is way behind schedule. And were we to wait for more information about that, we'd still be waiting and twiddling our thumbs. The chair of Powys County Council has said, in his opinion, we should just get on with the job now and get the ball rolling. And I was very pleased to hear that from him. And I think that's the quicker we get moving, the better it is for us.
Thank you.
And just to add to what Phil was saying about the Newtown one, yeah, I mean, the Newtown Place Plan has given the council a great deal more credibility in terms of its dealings with Powys, but also has opened the way to receiving grant support for various projects as well.
Thank you.
Propose Bill to accept recommendations you received.
There's a proposer, a seconder, so all in favour?
Jackson.
Accepting the place plan.
Thank you. Do you want to vote on that, Pam?
Yeah, that's fine. Yes,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
I couldn't get the Zoom to work, so I raced all the way down here to make sure I didn't miss it.
Yeah, new planning, yeah. Proposed change of use of building and car parking in class A1 retail to class B2 gym, together with the erection of 2 illuminated fascia signs and associated works for Bayou Street, Welshpool. Next.
Thank you. Can you hear me, Chair?
Yeah.
First of all, I would like to say I totally support the comments in the public participation section by Councillor Graham Breeze and by Chris Greatrix. My main question is, why on earth would a large international gym company want to open a 24/7-hour gym in a small mid-Wales town, which already has, I think it's 5 other gyms? I honestly think that this application needs much further investigation before it goes to the County Council Planning Committee.
Thank you, Nick. Anyone else? Yeah.
to answer Nick's question, and there is some truth to it, is that there's a deal between Snap Fitness and Poundland itself to take over the buildings that Poundland occupied that have gone into administration.
So there's a deal we don't know about.
Most likely, in Aberystwyth. Yeah, Aberystwyth, it was proved. I've done my homework. I was out all day Monday at Great Fitness and Poundland and investigating the parking lot. And there was a lot of information that came to light that I don't think any of us know about, which is why I had tried to email earlier today to all the counselors and get answers about the parking spaces as well. So.
Did you just coming in on that? Did you get any answers about the parking?
Richard Church told me in an email thread that he was looking into it. I emailed him all day long asking, because I said that is pertinent to the planning application, is they're claiming they have 90 spaces. If you go down to Poundland, and apologies, I ran all the way down here. So if you look at the planning application. Oh, hi. If you look at the planning application, there's 90 spaces. But if you go down physically to Poundland, which I did, and I have photos and I supplied them in emails, you'll see the whole bottom half in front of the toilets, in front of the building, and behind the toilets supposedly belong to the building. And then the thing is, if they do, there's signage all over those poles that say they actually belong to Powis and pay and display. So it's very confusing. So which is it? Does Powis own those spots? And then there's also a deal to be had with the lease. The lease was in 2022. So is there a current one with those spots?
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to get to the bottom of, because the spaces, depending on how much is owned, could impact other aspects of other applications as well.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you. Yeah, we have had an explanation from Graham, who actually missed about.
Sorry.
We confirmed that the car parking was not part of the whole deal at all.
Oh.
The only guarantee is that there will be 90 places in that car park ongoing, but not belonging to the application or Poundland or whoever takes it over. In relation to everything else, as a courtesy, we can only do with fact.
Yeah.
Rather than hearsay. So it's very interesting, so that we can take that into consideration tonight. However, I am completely against it, purely for the whole, this could actually destroy 5 other businesses in the town. And from the economic development of the town, I am, very strongly opposing this. I don't believe that the company, even though they say they've done, and they've written to tell us all the work that they've done, have tried hard enough to find alternative retail premises, and who knows. And the last thing I'd like to see would be the premises to become empty. But I believe Poundland themselves said they've got no plans of going anywhere at this moment in time. It's hard for everybody at the moment. But I don't think the answer, and certainly within the planning application itself, there are enough errors and inconsistencies and things that I believe that we should oppose it.
Thank you, Warwick. Bill?
Oh, thanks, Bill. It's a difficult one, isn't it? I mean, if Poundland want to part with their interest in the property to another person, then there's not anything on planning grounds that can be done about that. It's the change of use, of course, is the issue here. There is a tendency, isn't there, to want to keep things the same. And when the current gym, which is where the old Polish cinema was, there were a lot of people that said they wanted to keep cinema. But things do change. That's the nature of things. The demand for large areas of retail space is diminishing. We've got we will have 2 large retail spaces in town that are going to be empty. And change of use to prevent commercial competition, I don't think is a particularly legitimate argument. But I would oppose it on the grounds that it is very close to residential accommodation, particularly if it's going to be open late, especially at the weekends. That's going to contribute to noise, disturbance on the street. And also that it will, as has been said, destroy the balance of retail as opposed to residential or any other commercial use in the town. It will create a bit of an imbalance. And it would be nice to keep that as retail space, and it has been for a long time. But it is one of those vexed questions. The alternative is to have it maybe standing empty for a long period like Sainsbury's.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to see that either.
No. Thank you, Phil. No.
Yes, my comment was going to be very similar to what Phil has just said, but you know, sadly, the fact that there are already several gyms in the town cannot be a reason for turning this down. It's not a planning reason any more than it would be if we were talking about nail bars or hairdressers, both of which arguably we have rather more than we need in the town. But the balance of retail as opposed to other use is an important one. And I think we do have to take that seriously. Because Poundland haven't made a go of it nationally, they are in a situation where I understand they're paying no rental on the building at the moment, and therefore are probably in a position of having to try and find other users and pay and rent payers for buildings that they're presently occupying. And that's probably part of the deal, I suppose, by which they're paying their rent at the moment. So what Kelly was saying sort of feeds into that assessment of what's happening. It's difficult to see any other reason why a big multinational company would fix on Welshpool as the place to open their latest gym. I do feel that we need to try and preserve that retail balance, and that the position of that particular supermarket building immediately adjacent to other commercial premises is an important one. I also feel, as Phil has said, that to open something that has 24/7 usage, even though they talk about a tiny percentage in the letter they've sent, I don't necessarily believe that for a moment. This is right next to residential properties, many of which are occupied by fairly elderly people, and I think it's something that we really have to take very seriously.
Thank you, Phil. Phil? Nick, sorry, Phil.
Yeah.
Nick?
Yeah, very brief on chair. As I usually do, I just like to ask the chamber, is there anyone in there that can explain to me a positive benefit to our town and our community by having another gym taking over this commercial building? What is the benefit to our community? Is there anybody can back that up?
Thank you, Nick. Anybody want to have a go at answering that, or we're all leaving it alone? Yeah.
The only benefit that I can see is that Snap Fitness is a franchise, and some people prefer going to establishments that are of a franchise. They don't enjoy going to privately owned establishments. That's the only benefit I honestly can see. And the other benefit is that it is 24 hours. So.
Thank you, Ken. Yeah. Thank you. Can I go over to Phil first, please?
Chairman, although I'm not on this committee, I'm speaking as a councillor in the town as well. And look at the disastrous things that have happened to this town. And I mean, they need looking at, right? The biggest one, of course, is the old premises up here behind us. I always forget the name of the firm that Sainsbury's, no, yeah, Sainsbury's, yeah. And it's sitting there now doing nothing. You go and ask the pensioners and the older people, well, all the people up in Brunnabuckley, Woodside, Raven area, Dollavellion, all those areas up there. They're sick and fed up of walking all the way to Morrison's or Tesco. You know, and all of a sudden, here we are talking about somebody taking another one off them, right? It's killing this town. When I say we, I mean the council, county council, us, we've tried our best, I know we have. But at the end of the day, we are killing this council, this town, with empty shops and all this, that and the other, and it all stems from planning decisions, but way back. We know it, everybody knows it, never anybody wants to say I'm wrong, well, say I'm wrong. But that's a fact of it. Can I just remind you, some of these things perhaps a lot of people won't know. Take the Berry Street car park. As we all know, twice a year, we get the fair come in to Berry Street car park, which Parish Council get paid handsomely for by the fair people, right? But when that started, they were on till 10 o'clock. That car park, all round it, and I declare an interest here in that sense, that I'm one of them, the older people who live around that car park. No young people, all older people. The bottom end of Alford, the bottom end of New Street, you name it, it's all older people's residences. And the fair was coming and on to 10:30 at night and music blaring and this and that. Fair enough. Had a complaint to the county council at that time, and any fair that comes there now switches off at 9 o'clock, and in fairness they do switch off at 9 o'clock. And the residents around there say, yeah, okay, thank you very much, it's working and it's all right, but we can bear that, you know. But here we have an application from somebody who wants to run a business 24 hours, slamming car doors, talking and shouting outside when they've had a couple of pints after a hard day in the gym and all this, right? I don't know what will go on there, but at the end of the day, it won't be the quiet that it is now. And these are the older residents in this town. Where I live, for instance, with great respect and in confidence, probably over 50% of them are over 80. I'm 84 myself, and I don't mind making that claim, right? And I don't particularly want noise outside my place, right? And that's the same with everybody up there. So I think we have to, as a town council, we have to take these sort of considerations as well. We don't want something coming here that is going to cause upset for all our residents and this and the other. It really is that simple. So from my point of view, Chairman, I would say, you know, this is a non-starter. It's not even something worth consideration on the basis that it's going to be 24 hours. You wouldn't let a 24-hour factory go there, banging and clacking and all this and the other over, right? It's the same thing. Exactly the same thing. It's the noise that it creates and this and the other. And we've got to be fair to our residents. That's the first and final consideration we have in this chamber. The residents of Welshpool.
Thank you, Bill.
Chairman.
Bill?
I think Jackson was going to speak, weren't you?
All I was going to say is I know that Nick said, is there any advantages? I have heard one because I've heard a lot of people talking. Most of them have been against it, but some people have been for it. And the main thing I heard was people who have very long working hours, want access to a gym late at night and want to have a manned one and consider that this one's likely to be manned. But as far as I've been able to see in the application, I don't see any signs that they will be manned, and it'll just be the fob system that has been operating there.
Yeah.
So that I think is a key consideration, because the people who I know who are in favour of it are because they'll be able to go to a safe gym where there's someone there to keep an eye and make sure everyone's fine. And I don't think that that's actually what's being offered here. Yeah.
Thanks, Jackson. Bill?
Yeah, I just wanted to commend Councillor Graham-Rees for calling this in, because I find it really quite amazing and really something I'm very unhappy about. This should have been even considered to be something nodded through by officials rather than given proper consultation at county level.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, I wrote notes, please forgive me. So I realized we have to have an actual reason why we can object, and obviously having 4 gyms in town is not an adequate reason to objection. However, policy C1 specifically requires consideration of why the other gyms cannot meet the demand and why Snap Fitness can then come in. But when I read the application, they just said that it was the preferred location. That's not evidence enough to say that the other gyms in town cannot meet the demand of the residents. So what's the other evidence?
What is it? Yeah.
You need evidence, and a lot of it too in the application is their assumptions. I've noticed that when you read the application, it's not based on actual evidence, it's based on, they assume that, you know, there's gonna be lower traffic at night. Well, what if it's the opposite? We don't have any evidence to say what's going to happen.
No.
Hello,
Nick?
sorry, councillor Meredith, but you just quoted preferred location. There's a
Yeah.
gym directly across the road.
Of course.
Yeah, so why would we need another gym across the road as a preferred location for the one that's already there?
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I said. The application says they are going for that location because it is the preferred location, but C1,
To the one across the road.
the Snap, sorry, did I say that wrong?
No, carry on, because he's just misheard you. You carry on.
Okay. Snap Fitness, the applicant, says that they chose that location where Poundland is because it's the preferred location. However, according to C1 policy, that, oh God, the premises says, that they need evidence to show why the other gyms in town can not meet the sufficient demand of the residents, and preferred location doesn't meet the requirements because there's no evidence. Sorry, I hope I said that right. I'm trying.
Thank you, Kerry. All right.
If I can just say, just to make clear to Nick, what Kelly was saying was not that it was anyone here's preferred location, or there was any reason why it should be a preferred location, just that in the application, them saying it is the preferred location falls a long way short of any good reason why they should be there.
Thank you. Come down.
Bill.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chair. It seems to me that this application is, in many ways, it's analogous with the application that was made for change of use for the old Conservative club into a nightclub. It said, well, there are already nightclubs in town. It doesn't serve a massive population. What is the point of another nightclub, which was going to cause disturbance to residents and everything else? As it happened, it didn't work out. It closed after probably about a month.
Yeah.
And it now stands empty, and partly one of the reasons we're standing empty is the modifications that were made for the building to turn it into a nightclub makes it expensive and quite difficult to return it to some other use, because the alterations to the inside of the building, including the floor, the inner walls to make it soundproof, were considerable, and to reverse it is not cheap. It occurs to me that this is likely to be similar to allowing change of use for that building. It would require considerable modification, and to return it to retail space again would be possibly prohibitively expensive for another potential commercial user. So again, I don't think that's strictly a planning consideration, but it just seems to me that it's an exercise that is possibly doomed to fail. And if it does fail, then we could be stuck with an empty, unused building for longer than we should.
Thank you, Bill, thank you. Well, I haven't said much, well, you've all been in front of me, that's why, only I've been trying to read between the lines, and honestly, for what I know about Powys County Council, they will never sell a parking place unless they're building on it. And I still think that will be it. There's no 8 parking places or 12 parking places. I don't care what they say, they're not. It's not gonna happen. So I think what's been sent forward and what we've had the tail end of Powys County Council, what they would like to say or what they would like to happen. Treated with very kid gloves. Yes, Maureen.
Can I propose that we object to the planning application? Can you pull from our meeting the grounds on which we
Yes.
about?
I've got a list.
Balance, you've got the ones that we've cited.
Yeah.
And there's some very good ones in.
Yeah.
Right, thank you, Maureen. Can we have a sec? Sorry, Bill.
Recorded vote on that.
Yes, certainly. Recorded vote.
Yeah, okay.
I'll second it. You still need a seconder, Chris.
They did already second, okay, sorry.
Okay,
That's
we
all right.
seconded. Now in favour, Bill, sorry. Bill,
Hands up if you're in favour, and then if anybody's not.
Hang on a minute, so in favour of the,
I'll reject,
of
rejecting.
rejecting. Yes, that's all. I just wanted to be absolutely sure.
Yeah.
The way I wanted to be, yes, I'm in favour of
Okay.
rejecting this.
Philip,
He's not doing it.
sorry, Phil.
In favour, all right.
All right,
I'm in favour of rejecting it as well.
thank you,
Reject it.
thank you.
Likewise, but could you circulate a draft of the
Of course I will.
objection? Yeah, thanks.
Before I submit it,
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah.
Thanks.
Next,
I would support rejection of this application.
thank you, Nick, yes, and so would I.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you all for that. Do we need to go from this next one?
Yeah.
Right. Erection of 2 internally illuminated facial signs for Berry Street, Welshpool.
I think we probably have an idea how we're going to object to it.
That reject.
You voted. Thank you.
Oppose.
Seconder, yeah?
Yeah.
In favour,
Of
hang
objecting.
in Nick.
Bill,
Of rejecting.
Bill,
I'm going to abstain on the grounds that it's pointless vote anyway.
I'm not gonna minute that.
Conversion of building into 4 numbered apartments, Welshpool Business Centre, 42 Broad Street, Welshpool.
And also, another one came in just as I sent out the agenda, but it's to consider removal of conditions. Well, vary conditions 2 and removal of conditions 5, 7, 8, 11 and 12. So whatever you decide on this will automatically decide the next one as well, if that makes sense.
Oh.
No.
You okay? It's just removal of conditions for the next application, but it's for the same application.
Oh, it's for the same application.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Next,
I would totally support the improvement of 42 Broad Street. At the moment, it's been an absolute eyesore for at least the last 7 or 8 years. As is 41, which used to be my office actually, when I was with the National Trust. But these buildings, they're beautiful buildings, but they need to be restored. I mean, at the moment, they're just an eyesore on the main street. My one concern is if we turn these places into accommodation, where do these people park? But I totally approve and support the upgrading of them. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Nick. Bill?
Yeah, I agree with Nick, and as I invariably say with any application for residential use in Broad Street or High Street, parking is an issue, but as I understand it, there is rear access to 41 and 42. So presumably there was some parking at the rear. What I don't want to see, I would like these buildings to be restored sympathetically. I would like the accommodation to be relatively high grade. I don't like the idea of squashing people into tiny rooms above, shops and things, converting commercial buildings in High Street into HMOs or small units. I would like them to do something a little bit more interesting with them, make them more attractive places to live. But I agree with Nick, these buildings have to be developed. They've been an eyesore in the town for quite long enough. And I've noticed there's masonry already falling from one of them into the street. So they're actually a danger.
Thank you, Phil. Bill? Maura?
Thank you. Like Nick, I fully support this application. It's about time the building was renovated. I don't quite agree with Councillor Owen, because traditionally, if you have town centre accommodation, it is for smaller families, for single people who may not have cars, because if there's no parking, because families want more open space. So I'm happy, and there is a shortage of decent single person accommodation in town. There's lots of low quality stuff, but and I think it will enhance the town. It's quite a long time to work it out. It's a long bit, but where did the rest of the building go? I realised after a little walk around the area that it's down the passage, isn't it? So.
Thank you, Maura.
I'm very much in favour of this as well. It's something that's long overdue, and hopefully it's putting the first of hopefully two fine buildings back as they should be. I'm glad to see that the bottom floor is to be kept as retail space. We wait to see how successful that is. But looking at the floor plans proposed and so forth, these should be flats of reasonably high standard, and I think the sort of accommodation we want, albeit for, as Maura said, single people or couples, or small family units. Looking at the location, I'm pretty sure that it will be possible to provide adequate parking for reasonable use. So I don't think that will be an issue.
Thank you, Bill. Bill?
Yes, just to reply to Morag, what I wasn't meaning that we shouldn't provide housing for single people or small family units. I just meant I don't want to see the sort of development where they cram them in to these places. You know what I mean. I have nothing against single people or families having accommodation.
Okay, so someone want to make?
I'm in support.
Just remind everybody, anybody who doesn't know, I think Phil mentioned there is car parking at the back of this place, and you will be surprised if you bother to take a walk around there, and the entrance into the back way is at the bottom of the park lane before the gates, turn left in past those houses there, those viewer houses there. But it's a beautiful spot. You wouldn't pick a better spot in town. Why? Because you look at the town hall this way, and if you look out the windows the other side, the castle. Right? It's straight up the valley. Right? It's a beautiful spot. It's worth taking a walk up there, just have a look at what you're talking about. But it really is, and it could be developed into a beautiful place like you were talking about, for young families to build up on this and the other. Great. Yeah.
Thank you, Phil. Okay,
Happy to propose that we approve this.
I second.
okay, all in favor?
Are you just no comment, or do you want these comments that's been submitted as well?
I think put positive comments in just to help.
What's
you
been
know?
said?
Well,
Or you can just support with no comment.
I think we just plain support it.
Yeah,
I
support it, I think.
Yes.
Okay,
All right.
who seconded it? Sorry. Thank you, everyone.
All right, 5.4. Next, sorry, next. Well,
Oh, sorry, Chris.
let's go on next.
I had to leave the room. My timer was going off. So,
All right.
yeah, I support.
Oh, brilliant.
Thank you, Nick. Thanks, mate.
That's good.
5.4, pre-application consultation, slurry store and associated works. Erection of slurry store and all associated works. Land to the end of Pokey, Welshpool, Powers. We're all familiar, I think, with this, aren't we? To an extent.
Yes,
Maura, that's Maura go first, Bill.
After the first round of this, I was quite amused actually at the second proposal where they snugly fitted this slurry into what they perceive to not be the floodplain, without any regard for the fact that winters are becoming wetter, floods are getting higher. It's a natural occurrence, it is going to happen. But also it's moved it right next door to the residential areas across the road. And there's no mention in there that I saw about smell pollution. So because that will, the proximity to those poor people who live there, many of whom spoke at the original meeting, is shameful, really. I think.
Thank you.
So I would
Maura.
not support this application.
Bill?
yes, I agree with what Maura has said. It's moved right to the very edge of the flood area, so much so that the boundary touches it. And in fact, as we were told by local residents and as we know from our own experience, the road itself floods on a fairly regular basis now. So those regions are already out of date. The location reports that was attached with the various documents that I looked at is the original location report. It's not been rewritten. It still shows the proposed slurry pit in its previous location. The public right of way, which passes very close to it, is in fact the office-site path. So it's not just any old public right of way, it's a fairly important path. I suspect that maybe in the minds of the applicants, the idea that if we stick the slurry pit right next to the nearest properties, they'll say, oh, well, go on, put it where it was going to be before, then it's not as bad as this. I'm very unhappy with the idea that it should be there at all.
Thank you.
And I think that the new application fails to address the major items that we drew attention to last time, which are to do with the sheer size of the operation, to do with the closeness to the river, and to do with the outtake onto the road, where in particular traffic from the Oswestry direction, small cars are not visible until almost the last minute.
Thank you, Bill. Bill?
Yeah, thanks, Chair. Yes, third application. It seems to be, although they've tried to address the issues about the floodplain, the access and traffic considerations, they're saying they're going to lift and relocate hedges and trees, but it's just tinkering around the edges. The whole problem with this application, and it's always been the problem with it, is its simple proximity to the watercourse. The fact that they have now acknowledged that they were trying to put it in the middle of a floodplain and they've now moved it to the very edge of the floodplain doesn't fill me with confidence. If they put a slurry container of this size on a floodplain, what sort of people are we dealing with here? And even if it is right on the edge, we all know extreme weather events are becoming more common. And if there was any leakage from it, it would find its way into the river because the land slopes and water and slurry will find its way into the river. And given the size of this thing, if there was a major leak and that did end up in the Severn, that would be an ecological disaster of major proportions. It really would. We've always objected to this. I think their attempts to make it more acceptable don't work, because I think the considerations on which we objected to it on the first occasion and the second occasion are still relevant.
Thank you, Phil. Phil?
Yeah, Chairman, can I ask people to remember what the detail of this is? In other words, the stuff behind the tree. Right? This is a family-run farm. Family-run, 4 massive farms within our area. Right? One at the other end of the Wernderwood stretch by the Horseshoe Pub. One just as you're going into Montgomery from Forden. One down here at Leighton, you nearly drive into the courtyard if you don't turn left or right at the end. As Jim Mason found out, funny enough, Jim had a big accident there one day. He was driving home and went straight to Farm Gate. But that's a long time ago. And of course, the residence itself in Polkey. Now I understand from somebody else that what is intended is all the slurry from all these farms is all going down there. Down the Leighton Road from Montgomery, Forden, down there, bang, and down, you know, they've got it all planned. It's all being applied for and will be built for, if you've done permission, for 4 farms, not one. And these are major farms, big farms, not little small holdings within 2 miles of here. Be very careful, Chairman. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nick. Nick?
Oh, thanks, Chair. Yeah, well, we're talking about the solid clip, the contamination of a water course. I mean, we go back to the Environmental Protection Act of 1990. I mean, that is illegal to do. And also under Section 2 of that particular act, the noxious smell is actionable by the Environmental Health Department. And I would wonder if the Environmental Health Department have been involved in this application when it looks as to whether there's been an environmental impact assessment carried out on the watercourse. It looks as if it has improved, but what was the result of the environmental impact assessment?
Thank you, Nick. Phil?
My other concern with it is that the actual construction of the slurry in that site where it is now would actually change the floodplain, because it will be dug into the ground. So there's high likelihood that it will actually change the floodplain to incorporate that slurry. So I propose that we do object to this is a consultation, is it?
Yeah.
It's a pre-application, yeah.
So I propose that we object to it on the same grounds.
Thank you, Maura. Phil? Phil?
Yeah, there is actually, it won't be all the slurry from the 4 farms, or it will certainly be slurry from the 4 farms. There is a similar construction already in place in Leighton. They promised that there would be no smell from it. You don't have to be in Leighton long to know that you're in Leighton these days. And the same thing will be true there. It's now very close to the road, very close to houses. It's going to be actually quite unpleasant. That's a lot closer to any buildings than the construction is in Leighton, in fact. So
Thank you, Phil.
and there will be, although they would say there wouldn't be very much change to the amount of agricultural traffic on the road, there will be. I'm quite sure of that.
Thank you. We've got a proposal.
Yeah.
I propose we reject.
Beth?
Seconded it, yeah.
What,
Seconded.
that we're rejecting, right?
Yeah, Morg's already proposed it.
Awesome.
So you're seconded.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Sorry,
Okay.
everyone,
got excited.
All those in favour?
everyone in favour?
So on the grounds that we did previously, and I'll just list them all
Yeah.
again, yeah?
Yeah.
I think we have, I mean, basically the principle is that virtually nothing in this application changes
No.
things.
Yeah, fine,
Yeah.
thank you.
And also that, as we know, the floodplain isn't in line with it, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
The road floods, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you all very much. You notice that to note that the next meeting of the Events and Planning Committee will be held on Wednesday, the 2nd of September at 6:30. Thank you all very much.
My apologies, so
Yeah, that's fine.
I'll be
On holiday.
in Santorini with a cocktail.
Oh, that's.
Dipping your toe somewhere, is it all right?
They were going